Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a collective reading. So, because it is a collective reading, I'm doing this reading with my big combined deck of tarot cards and astrological oracle cards. So, today, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and apart from moving back to Capricorn just for a couple of months at the end of 2024, it's going to stay in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And it's not just Pluto entering Aquarius today and activating this 0 degree of Aquarius, but the sun is also moving into Aquarius, and that is really, really significant because it's like we're opening up this gateway to a new era, a new age, a new moment for humanity. And this is very impactful for us humans, right? As a collective. Aquarius is a sign that is incredibly in tune with what is up to date for this kind of like extension of humanity, but I don't really like that word. It's like this upgrade, right? Maybe this technological upgrade. We're seeing more than ever AI, just wowing us, like, our minds, just opening up our minds and what it can do. And even like, the cautions that we may have to have with that. But that's, part of this big, huge, profound transformation that we're experiencing as humans alive on Earth right now, right? Both individually, but most importantly, as a collective. And so, this reading today, and by the way, just a last thing that I want to mention. Go back to the end of 2020, the summer solstice for us here in the southern hemisphere, and the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere on the 21st of December 2020. That's the day that Saturn and Jupiter met, right? They held hands together in this 0 degree of Aquarius. So it was kind of like this first signal that a new age is opening up, right? So the new normal was starting to be perceived, right? Now that the sun is entering Aquarius together with Pluto, right? And the sun is like at the center of our solar system, and Pluto is at the outer edge, right? So the two extremes, the two polar opposites, let's say, and now meeting together, entering this sign that is representing the new age, right? This opening up of our consciousness. And so I feel like, especially because Aquarius is very in tune with the cosmos, with, the stars and these cosmic informations, and just like this upgraded version of our understanding of what the universe is really. I feel like this is really in tune with the message that I'm seeing here, because I feel like we are being invited by the cosmos to know a little bit more about the history of the universe, things that are way beyond our current comprehension, right, as humans, of what this very large cosmos like has, or has been through, right? There is like this really interesting trip, right, that we are being invited to go into. And this invitation is coming from the magician. The magician here was showing itself as a spaceship ride. So I was seeing this hat, and this is interesting because it's an image that I've never seen, I think. And it came through the stars, right? It's almost like I was seeing this spaceship coming from afar and then making a turn and then stopping here right in front of me, and then opening up this top part of the head as like this speaker. And the speaker was saying, are you ready for this spaceship ride, right? Are you ready for a spaceship ride? Because it's not any ride. It's not like, maybe we could compare, as like, the magic carpet ride in Aladdin. But if you think of like something broader, like it's not just, like just seeing the earth from above. It's like seeing the cosmos, seeing the stars, especially because the star is here. And I feel like this might be very overwhelming for those who don't remember that we come from the stars. But for those that I'm reading this for those who are already very conscious and aware and very in tune with all of these openings, right? Maybe disclosures about the cosmos and ETs and other constellations and other star beings and all of that. This might not be a surprise. It's going to actually feel like going back home, almost as if you have this ride of this magician taking you back home, because the Six of Cups, it's talking about like, let's go back to where you came from, in a sense. Let's go back to like this remote past that perhaps you have had like a lifetime, or it's kind of like, when you're a kid and then you're going to the zoo for the first time, or you're going to a museum for the first time, and it's all very new, right? It's like you don't realize how big all of that is. But then there are a few things that feel familiar, right? Or, maybe there are a few things that you recognize because you've been, I don't know, to the zoo or to the museum before with your family, right? So it's like it's not completely new, but you're remembering that you've been there, or that some places are familiar, or some spots in that trip are going to be familiar to you. So this is how the Six of Cups is coming through. It's like, yes, it's an incredible journey that the magician is inviting us all to go, but there is something that feels very well known to our soul, to our heart, right? It's like our soul knows that we are going back home, in a sense, right? Or that this is not a completely new and innovative and very it's like this completely new sight, right? It's like there's something familiar about the cosmos, about the stars, about the constellation. And I feel like what this magician is, like the last thing that they're saying before you hop on, I think, because the king of cups is here, is they're saying you're gonna love it. This is what I heard with this King of Cups. It's like there is such familiarity with the Six of Cups, but there's also so much trust in this magician, and it feels exciting. It feels intriguing, right? It's like it feels like this magician has traveled, the ends of the cosmos to get to where you are. And because they are approaching you as part of this human collective, that's because you remember that it makes sense that this is kind of like this return home trip, because they are reassuring to you that you're gonna love it, that it's like it's part of your heart. It's like it's not a childish or like an immature decision to go with the magician. It's kind of it's almost like I expected this to happen. I was waiting for this to happen, right? It's like my heart was aching, perhaps, is what I'm just hearing right now with the Six of Cups. My heart was aching. I've been, maybe if we think of this journey from the page to the king, it's like this process of growth here on earth, right? So now you are in a point in your life that you have lived so much, your human experience, that your heart is aching to go back home, in a sense, right? It's like you have achieved like this level of emotional maturity that you can see yourself as healed, in a sense, with the star here. But most of all, it's kind of like the healing part is like a secondary thing, because it's part of your human journey. What this magician is proposing, it's like expanding your horizons, expanding your vision, expanding your exploration of the cosmos, right? So it feels like this very magical journey with the magician. It's like the magician is kind of like your host, but it's almost like they know who you are, right? They know your heart. So they know that the more they show you, the more stars they bring you to, or they bring you closer to, it's like you're going to remember in your heart, and this is going to be part of this healing, but in this other level, right? So it's like you've done a lot of emotional healing, I want to say, because you are showing up as the king. So, but it's almost like now reaching for the stars, now reaching for maybe a bigger, more expensive goal of healing something that is not in the realm of the human body or the human awareness. It's kind of like this awareness as human, but also as like a star being or like a cosmic inhabitant, right? It's like you are like this inhabitant of the universe. So therefore, it's like you're going to recognize maybe a specific star, a specific constellation, that it's going to feel like home, right? So that's the reason why I feel like this magician is, it's like they're not saying that they're going to take you specifically to one star, but they know the route. They know, it's like they know where to take you, because they feel, okay, so the communication is directly speaking to your heart. So it's not that the magician is speaking to you, your human being, your human mind, right? It's speaking to this level of awareness in your heart that knows to be true how much you belong to this star family, to this star constellation. So it's like this, it's almost like the magician is giving you like this cosmic passport, is what I just heard, which is so fascinating because it feels so fantastical, so out of this reality, but it's also very, it's like it's very familiar, right? So there is no fear, there is no intimidation, or it's like you're not hesitating at all. And if you are, which I don't feel like you are, if you are, the magician is just reinforcing the good part, right? It's like they're saying you're gonna love this, right? You're gonna love this because it's like they know that the moment that they take you to the star that is meant for you, right? Or, through this trip around the universe, it's like you're going to spot a star and you're going to feel this immediate heart connection to it, which is going to make you feel at home, right? And that is so fascinating because, and this is something that is coming right now, because the bottom line here of this part of the reading is very there are many cards here. It's more cards that I'm used to. Usually I have just 3, but here there are 5. And the reason that I took the 5 cards is because all of them flip together. And the moment that I was opening up, I knew that they were all painting a same picture. But the first card that came here in the bottom row, being the sun after the star, now differently than I was seeing, and I'm going to say what I was seeing at first, but differently than what I saw at first, the sun is also a star, right? And it's like, the main star of our solar system, right? It's like this gorgeous, illuminated, beating heart, right? It's how it's coming through. So yes, maybe for some of you, your star is the sun, right? It's like, when traveling through the planets, through the spheres, through the cosmos, through the stars, guided by the magician, because they're taking you with them in this spaceship. It's like, that the star that is calling you the most might be the sun. But this is kind of like a side note to some of you. It could be any star, to be honest. It doesn't need to be the sun, because the main message that I was receiving, especially because the Hanged Man was coming after, is that the sun is not actually the end goal, or it's like it's not meant to be a stop point at this moment in time, not in this trip. It's almost like maybe this is the first trip that you're going around the cosmos, being guided by an ET in a sense, right? Maybe this is a meditation, maybe this is a dream, maybe this is an extra sensorial and extraterrestrial contact with a being that is from a star. But if this is the case for you, it's almost like the sun is off limits just for now, because the sun, if the sun was going to be visited in the first trip around the cosmos, it could be too blinding, right? So there is kind of like this, it's like the sun is in this waiting room, right? It's like you don't have access yet to the sun, although, as I said, perhaps to some people the sun is what is going to call you the most, right? So that is okay. I just feel like there's something that it's almost like there is more knowledge to be received from the sun, right? Maybe solar flares, maybe, you know, these explosions in the sun that are reaching the earth and other stars and other planetary bodies and other star systems. So it's kind of like receiving this introduction of like going to a museum, but it's like this cosmic museum, right? It's like learning history from this more expansive point of view, which could be very mind-blowing and very overwhelming and even blinding. So I feel like that's the reason why there is this sign that is saying, okay, so the sun is under a maintenance, right? It's like the sun is not accessible at this moment in time because there are other things to be concerned with. It's almost like later on the sun will be accessible. Later on, it's like we all will be able to know more about the sun, the influence of the sun. But for now, it's like it's just like it's better not to go there, right? Because the Nine of Pentacles is coming next. The Nine of Pentacles here was just reinforcing to me after the Sun and the Hangman that there is something in this human journey that is still very, it's like a work in progress that we still need to pay close attention to, right? And what the Nine of Pentacles is talking about, it gave me two words, independence and sovereignty, right? Which is something that I often see with this card, but especially because I feel like, you know, maybe you do have like such an emotional remembrance coming from a specific star and even from the sun, right? And in astrology, the sun represents our essence, our light, who we are in truth, right? And it's also like it's like the planet or like the luminary, right? The star being that talks about this light of awareness, the light of consciousness. So wherever we are focusing this light of our being, right? It's like this is what is going to come into our awareness. But I feel like perhaps because more, it's almost like what we are receiving right now, it's just a brief introduction, right? Like this overall understanding of the cosmos, like this first wave of expansion to understand like the stars and how healing that first understanding is, so that later on we can receive more profound understandings from the sun or what the sun means for us. Because until then, it's like until this sign is released from the sun, it's like focus on the human journey, focus on working on building this strength, right, of independence and sovereignty, but in this mundane level, in this physical realm, right? Don't forget that just because we're going on this amazing cosmic trip, right? There is still work to be done, I want to say, here in this human body. And that's also very in tune with this other card because it's the Queen of Wands, and it's talking about this it's like this ability to see more, right? To envision something, because to me, the Queen of Wands is one of the most creatives, right? One of the most creative energies and queens. And, you know, being a queen, it's like there is like this connection to the heart, which was already here. But if you allow something to be created, right, from this human perspective, it's like the journey continues in another level because we're ending with the Chariot. So the Chariot is this ride that the magician initiated. So it's almost like it starts with this spaceship ride, right? Going through the cosmos, going through this, you know, open space, through the stars, but realizing that because we cannot go to where we would like to go, or because, you know, there is one point that is being kind of blocked in a sense, right? It's like it has this sign. It's like don't trespass, don't cross this boundary because it's off limits, at least for now, right? It doesn't feel like it's going to be forever, but it feels that right now this is relevant because it's like this waiting game until we can access the sun. It's important because we're still doing this, which is the human journey, right? These three cards, they're talking about the ride continues. It's just that we're not in the spaceship anymore, right? So this feels like, you know, maybe like this deep meditation that we have, like this vision that we're traveling through space, or even like astral traveling in dreams, or any kind of, you know, maybe hypnosis session or a past life hypnosis. What is QHHT session, quantum healing hypnosis therapy, is that right? I don't know. So whatever it is, it's like the connection with the stars is opening up this path that is continuing to heal, right? But it's because you have already done a lot. It's like your heart is more healed than ever before, but the work continues in this human dimension, in this 3D realm, because it's almost like now that you have accessed this power to connect with the stars, but there's something that it's like maybe, okay, because the sun is being blocked in a sense, it's almost like there's part of this understanding of the whole cosmos that we are not aware yet, right? It's just talking about like, you know, not accessing the sun. It's like not having full clarity or full illumination or full awareness of something about the cosmos. So we are opening up, you know, our minds and our consciousness to the stars, to the cosmos, to the magician in a way that feels very enchanting, but also very familiar and even emotional, right? Like remembering that our home is, you know, beyond the earth, right? Earth is just our current home. And yes, okay, that's interesting. Here, when I was talking about the star, you know, this star that we're traveling with the magician, they're taking us back home. It feels very familiar because you know that you've been there, that you've lived there, that you have like some sort of connection with some star, right? And here, with the sun being like, you know, just not as lit up, or like there are a few things that we don't know yet about it. It's like focus on what we know, and what we know right now is that it's like we are from Earth. We have been born here. It's like this is our current home, right? The journey continues, and it feels like it is one that is, it's almost like it's requiring that we become even more sovereign, but here on earth with this human consciousness, because there's a lot to be created and there's a lot to be moved and there are places to go, because these two are so dynamic, right? It's like this is a little bit more steady because this gives direction, but also like this steady course. Both of these are the engine, are like the fuel, right? It's like there is, okay, what the magician is giving us, it's like this ability to find energy, because the energy comes from being healed, or to, you know, being in this process of healing, especially if it comes from out there, from something other than the earth. It's like it's giving us fuel to create like this life on earth, you know, until we can have access, or until we can have more information that we are not privy to about the sun. And even not just about the sun out there, right? The sun that shines every day, but our sun, our inner sun. I don't know if that makes sense, because I feel like that's, you know, where we're heading to with the chariot. The chariot is talking about like, you know, being on the driver's seat. So no longer we are being taken by the magician. It's like the magician was the host, the driver, right? The one who was taking us around the cosmos. But here on earth, we are on the driver's seat. So we have to be responsible enough, right, to go on this path of becoming independent, becoming sovereign. But also it's not just becoming, it's like solidifying that, right? That's why this is here. It's like this constant creative path that is solidifying, right? This earth, maybe this new earth, right? This more expensive understanding of earth. And just to end this first part, look who's here at the bottom of the deck. I know that I said that there are no cards from the Astrological Oracle deck here on the reading, but here it is at the bottom of the deck, which is Pluto, right? So I feel like, you know, maybe this could be this magician, right? It's like Pluto is on the driver's seat of this spaceship that the magician is representing. And Pluto is coming from, you know, the outer edges of our solar system so that we can realize that no matter how far it had to travel to get up to us, it's like it's finally speaking to us, right? So I am going to pull more cards, and also I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.